church planting can be seen as, I think you hinted at this already, in terms of a new church in the area. It can be seen as a bit of a competition to other existing churches, even a criticism of existing ministries. Now, I'm glad, as I look at this screen, that we can see already there's a number of the local existing churches who are behind this venture. It's one of the great desires of Christchurch North Dublin that it wants to contribute to the overall witness of the gospel in D13. But why, I mean, just speaking personally, why are you involved? Why did you want to get involved in Christchurch North Dublin?
I think for us, we've lived in this community for 7 or 8 years now, and we can really just see the need of people. You know, people have a lot of preconceptions over the last years about, you know, Christianity and the church, and we love the people that we live near, and we just want to reach out to them. We want to teach them more about Jesus. I think in our area as well, we've seen over the last few years it's really changed in terms of all the new buildings and new families moving in. So there's a lot more opportunities, I think, coming our way to get involved with young families and people in the community. And we're just really excited by that. We just want to get stuck in. Our oldest child has started school in the last year, which has really given us, I guess, another new landscape to meet new people and get to know them, which has been really lovely. So yeah, we're really excited.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good opportunity, you know, like Sarah said, to engage with people in our area and to show them that you know, that Christians are ordinary people, that we're not that different. We don't think we're better than anyone else, and that, you know, that Christianity isn't about following rules, that the Bible has things to say that are still important and relevant even in 21st century Dublin. So if we can start something new in our local area to help people explore those things, then I think that can only be a good thing. And Dublin's a big city, and the Bible teaching churches that are here already are just they're too few in number to reach everyone. So if we can be a small part of helping grow that and in our local area, then I think that's great. Why wouldn't we do it?
What about other guys in terms of Christchurch North Dublin? You know, we've left loving church families who love us and whom we love. It's not easy, you know, and there's families involved in this as well. It's not just husbands and wives, or, you know, there are families involved as well. So why get involved in a new church plant?
I think from my perspective, it's it really kind of picks up on what Sarah was saying, is that, you know, we live in this area, we have many friends, and one of the joys of having kids is that you experience the phenomenon of the school gate, and you build friends, you know, through many years of class parties and birthday occasions and stuff like that, and these are folk that we've got to know really well, and yet they're unchurched, and all of them at some point in time go through difficult times, and how lovely would it be to be able to positively impact their lives through the reality of the gospel, and I suppose that's the joy of being in a startup or a church plant, is that our focus is very much on reaching out. You know, big churches that we've been really weighted towards reaching out and bringing new people in, and that's something that I find really exciting and very compelling.
I love the challenge, the adventure of being pushed to be more encouraging to people to have those conversations with unchurched people, which generally I would maybe shy away from. Whereas when you're involved with a church plant, you're really encouraged to pray for those people, to actively wait on God for those conversations to come up. And I just find it quite an exciting place to be in. I like the challenge. I like the feeling of hanging on to God and waiting on Him and depending on His Spirit to speak into other people's lives, but also to give me the words to say, to draw them in. So yeah, for me, it's an exciting place to be.
You certainly do feel a lot more exposed.
Yeah.
And knowing that their support and encouragement in order to do this is a great help. But nonetheless, you can still feel very weak,
Yeah.
and it's a scary place to be. I think there's nothing wrong in admitting that or saying that, and it's very often in those places where we feel weak and exposed and vulnerable. We grow in our dependence upon God, and God can be pleased to demonstrate His power and His glory by doing something that is actually just simply beyond us, humanly impossible. Speaking, I don't, as certainly as we've thought about it and talked it through, it is a step of faith.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly beyond our comfortable. It's beyond what we're used to, and as it has been said, I think by Philip, we're hanging on to God in this. We're stepping out into the dark, really. We're stepping out into the unknown for sure. And again, we don't know if this is going to work or not, but we know we're compelled to try. And just picking up on something else that was said, I suppose we're also trying to reach people who are largely not involved in any church, for whatever reason. But as we've seen in recent days, there is a desire to know more about God, to know more about Jesus and what He means for our lives. I think as everything has been taken from many people, our normality of life has gone, and for many people it has had very serious financial implications and social implications, and many, it's been widely spread in the news that people are now turning to these questions of faith because they have time, but because they see the need for this, and they're asking questions, and it opens up conversations much easier than we have had in the past, because usually it would take maybe years to get to a conversation about God, whereas now it sometimes can take a few minutes with a complete stranger. So I suppose God's timing is no accident in this either. And while it has been a hurdle in one way, while we would maybe have hoped to be meeting together as a church family now, it has certainly added an extra dimension that we can reach out in this way and have these conversations with people in our neighbourhood and indeed virtually in a way that we couldn't have before.